Everybody, and welcome back to Spooky Things. I'm Debbie, and you guys know Devin. Um, okay, so tonight,
I had the pinky in full extension.
oh yeah, you got the class. Tonight we're going to talk about a subject that is unusual, but he's got so much information on this, and we have all these really incredible talks. And I keep asking him, why don't you get on the show and talk about it? Because it's fascinating. So tonight, I've got him agreed to do it. So tonight, we are going to talk about the Anunnaki.
No, we could talk about that. All kinds of things we can talk
We
about.
can talk about all kinds of things.
Mhm.
But
We could talk about what happened to our mailboxes. There we go. All right. We got to go.
I want to give just a moment of silence for our 3 mailboxes. 1, 2, 3.
I felt like,
They were so good while they lasted.
in Hocus Pocus, when they do the circle, and they do the sister circle, and they all stand together, and they go, That's how I felt with our mailboxes. Yep. Mother, father, Winnie.
Our mailboxes have met a miserable demise.
They were annihilated by a school county bus. They stood no chance.
They stood no chance.
They stood,
They didn't
but not
have
a chance. They were standing though, but
Well, after the 3rd round, they weren't standing.
no, they were leaning, boy. After the first 2 rounds, they was leaning. I mean, man, I think them things got folded like mail.
We promised we wouldn't talk about that.
So yeah, so that's what's going on in our personal lives.
That's
And we still ain't got no mail. This happened on Thursday.
yeah. So if you're going to be sending me some mail, you might want to hold off till we get the mailboxes back up.
Or at least call our post office and be like, we're sorry. That's
Could be a long time.
Yeah.
So,
Fun times.
yes, we didn't have anything else to do, so this is our new thing. Anyway, so much for the mailboxes.
And my camera.
Well, on the street side.
And the street. They said they weren't going to touch that either?
So who put it in the ground?
Well, I mean, who knows who put it there, but I do know they ain't going to put it back. That's what I do know. That's what I do know is they told you, we're not going to touch that. It's like, I will. Look, he touched the butt. Yeah.
It's an interesting situation, believe me.
What was that?
It's a long story. It's a book. I mean, this is a book. Okay, so in any case, it's kind of funny. It's kind of not. Moving on. Okay, Anunnaki.
Yes.
A lot of people don't even know who the Anunnaki are, and it's interesting because once you hear about them and you really you go into studying about the Anunnaki, and it's mind-blowing because it can completely change the way people have thought about many, many, many important issues their entire lives.
Yeah.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of keeping them waiting to hear, tell them what's going on.
Well,
who is the Anunnaki?
They could be many different things, but I guess you could really call them from those to which heaven came. They came from the sky, and almost every single story you'll hear of them. If there's any creator story or any story in general, you'll hear about those that came from the sky. And that's pretty much what Anunnaki stands for. It's what it means. It's a description of what they had seen. It's those who came from heaven down and brought all the necessities that we needed for civilization. They taught, their teachers. They're a great majority of things. But if you want to, here's one for you. Let's just say, for instance, we got money, right?
Mhm.
Let's say you and I were
Far reaching, but okay.
yeah, there you go. And we're members of the elite, right? And now
It's even further reaching.
yeah, but we know that there's an impending doom upon the world, and the brightest minds are trying to figure out how to get us at least up there. So let's say the world's facing an impending doom, cataclysmic event. There's no way, you can't avoid it. This is gonna happen. Poles shifting, and let's just say, we'll just say some hypotheticals. It's going to happen. We get on our ship, we launch off into orbit, and we sit right there amongst other elites and we watch everything happen. Everything that you knew about your life is now gone. You're going to watch the entire world get destroyed. Everybody you knew, loved, your house, your pets, your whatever, gone. Everything gone. And you watch it all happen. You wait for a period of time. I'm sorry, got it. This bizarre hair.
It's a fuzzy warbler.
Oh, it came from this probably. It just, and yeah, and just like that too. You watching it all happen.
Is that you
What?
making that noise?
No, it's your it's the hole you have created. And a couple of podcasts ago, it was cut short. I don't know if you guys remember that one. That one was short lived, about 15 seconds on the air, and I'll be right back. I don't even know if y'all even saw her. She had fallen through the hole. I know I saw her. I had to come in here and rescue her. It was hard to get her up too because she was laughing so hard. I didn't know if she was hurt or what. that was great.
That was funny.
And so yeah, you watch the world get destroyed. You're up there with all your other elite friends. You're up there until the Earth cools, resets. It might happen after your lifetime where the Earth finally resets and it's able for you to go down again. But the point of the matter is
so the Earth does not completely explode or implode. It just, all life forms are
anything
dead.
on the surface is going to get eradicated. There's just nothing you could do about that. There might be a small percentage that survives, but let's say again, at that time, you're there for, let's say, I don't know, let's say 50 years go by. At that point, anybody that survived that crazy ass event would see you coming down from the sky in an advanced aircraft. They wouldn't even know how to describe it or what. They would just see all of a sudden something coming from the sky down.
Right.
It lands. Out come people. They either look like you or they're wearing suits or something to mask who they really are. And they're obviously not saying I'm a human being that survived this cataclysmic event. Without saying that, they would be looked at as if they were gods, if you think about it, because they're coming from the sky down in crazy looking crafts. Obviously, we would know what they are because they were being designed and built while we were still alive. When the Earth gets annihilated, nobody's going to be alive. No one's going to know. No one's going to know anything. It's a total reset. Language may be lost. They may not even have language. You know what I mean? You have no idea what you'd be dealing with. Come down, someone hits you in the head with a rock. What the hell? These things can happen. And
it still happen.
You land there, they look at you like you're some god, and then you bring knowledge with you. You're teaching them how to grow things, how to read, write, math, astronomy, whatever. You are a source of knowledge from your time when you were here on the planet. They would revere you as a god. I mean, think about it. How else would they see you? You came from the heavens down, and you come bringing all of this knowledge, technology.
Well, and also into the fact that the people that are remaining are not highly advanced at this point because they've lost everything.
They'll be hunter-gatherers. That's exactly what they would be, hunter-gatherers.
Right.
Exactly what you would encounter as hunter-gatherer parties and survivalists.
Because there's nothing there to work with anymore.
It's all gone. It's all been eradicated. Again, now that's a hypothetical of 50 years. It's obviously going to be a much longer time than that after a great cataclysmic event, or who knows? I mean, we've never been through one in recent. Who would know?
Who would know?
We wouldn't. I mean, no one would. But it's one of those things you have to think of. Could that be an explanation of who the Anunnaki really are? Just survivors from a cataclysmic event that had occurred. They got into their ships, they bolted off, they watched the whole thing happen, they sat, waited until it was habitable again, where you can go down and mine or get the resources you need from the earth again, until it was all reset.
Do you think that the Anunnaki were here before people
Hell
were here?
yeah. I think what we are coming to realize now is they've always been here. It's part of our history, part of our lineage as human beings, as life itself here on this planet. They've always been here.
So if what you're saying is true and that they've always been here, what does that make us?
Vessels. We're nothing but containers for souls, for what we have inside of us. And when you die, once this is said and done, you go to where they are. Your form will be what their form is. So it's kind of like waking up in a way. And boom, you'll be right back to where they are. And you get sent right back here. That's why they call it a quote unquote, John Lear called it a prison planet. That's what we are, is a total prison planet. Who knows that? No, I'm not going to sit here and say that's the truth. Sucks to be us. I'm not going to say that because who knows? I don't know. These are all just hypotheticals, and that's what makes these conversations totally fun. Is you never, who knows? If you die and find out, and you go, man, I wish I could go back and tell everybody the truth, and they're like, no, you're not doing that. Guess what? You're a baby. You know what I mean? You wake up, pooping yourself. That's not cool. That's a really cruel joke to play on somebody.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. Welcome home. Yeah, that's cool. That's D'd up. But that's just the way it is. Who knows? I mean, I'm not going to say that is the way it is. It could be the way that it is. And again, that's where I say when you die, you take nothing with you because it's all waiting for you when you get there. That's where I mean by things like that. It's just things that kind of just logically make sense to me, that when you have your experience here, you die, you kick off, and you go right back to where you're actually really from. You take your real form again.
So if what you're saying hypothetically is true, what would our role here be? I mean, I know I'm asking you questions that are like
I'm going to say
hard
that
to
life,
answer, but I mean,
our life, human beings and things like that, I think are kind of essential to the planet in a way. We're needed to be here. We keep a balance of something.
we screwed this earth up so bad. We are not needed here.
Earth's been here for millions of years, still here.
Well, yeah.
If the pyramid wars were real, what they did with those are 10 times more worse than what the hell we did now. They actually single-handedly annihilated the damn planet at one point in time using those pyramids as weapons. So, let's say that hypothetical is true. The damage that would have been done to this planet has been done time and time and time again.
Explain
and it's
that.
Still here.
I mean,
What?
They don't know about the pyramid wars.
Well, there's two of them. Now, well, this is following the work of Billy Carson. He's a absolutely fantastic. He's a fantastic person when it comes to reading these ancient scriptures, cuneiform tablets. This man, the dude's a walking encyclopedia for things like this. Some of his work is viewed as far-fetched. People like me just find him fascinating. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's true, and I'm going to follow him like a religion. I'm going to say that I love people that come out and they have these interesting
ideas, concepts,
and the way they put it out there. And it's for you to take and go, you know what, that's kind of true. You know what, I could believe that to be true. Or I've been working in that field in my studies and go, this correlates with what I've been studying. And you know what, cool. I could say this is tangible. Billy's work is quite interesting. So he doesn't hold nothing back, man. He holds zero back. He will not hold nothing back. And he stated that there was 2 pyramid wars because of Enki and Enlil and Marduk. And these would be the sons of Anu, who would be the head of the Anunnaki, King Anu. And now the thing is when you, I think I've said this before on here, Amun Ra.
Mm-hmm.
When people say Amen, it's Amun Ra. You're actually saying, you're still giving praise to Amun-Ra himself when you say Amen. And that was something Billy had put it out. And then the actual names of the people where Jesus' name wasn't really Jesus. It was something else, Yeshua or whatever. But with these pyramid wars, they were basically grasps of power where the people, it was either Enlil, I think it was Enlil that was ousted. One of the brothers were ousted, and basically he designed an army. More human beings, and developed an army. Over time, just he was exiled and had to go do his own thing. And over the course of time, he developed an army, and he wanted to take power back, and failed. And then he wanted a more period of time goes by, and he erects another army and goes after him again. And in that time, it was the most extreme war possible that resulted into the destruction of the planet, ultimately.
Wow.
Yeah, they fled out of here. It was that bad.
The Anunnaki fled out?
Yeah, they left. This place got fucking annihilated. Oh, excuse my language. You know how many... Just so anybody... I'm sorry for the F-bombs. It is just naturally how I talk when I get into rambling. I will bolt one out like this. I mean, no...
You don't want to have him on speakerphone in Walmart.
No. And I'm really sorry. But...
Okay.
But yeah, so that second pyramid war was so extreme that it ended up annihilating the planet, and that's what those it's been stated that that's what Göbekli Tepe is. It states it actually has pillars that state the pyramid war.
Is that monster talking to you?
Yeah, it's bubbling up, and it's got my throat like bitch. It's fascinating. Zachariah Sitchin is another one that wrote a book. I believe he was the first ever to really come out with it. He basically deciphered many different things. He deciphered it, and then the way he deciphered it, he wrote the book the way that he did based on that. Some had said that it's been debunked. Some say it's not. Who knows, man? I find it fascinating that one book he wrote, it was just a chain reaction that came from it.
Well, it was a powerhouse book.
Telling me.
So, but explain what the Göbekli Tepe is.
Göbekli Tepe is about 12,000 plus years old. And now they're finding other sites that are also ranging from this time. And thank God for Graham Hancock with Ancient Apocalypse. And he's got a season 2 coming now.
Oh, does he?
I don't know if you heard about that, but he's been very vocal about it. He has another season coming, and I cannot wait. It's right around the corner too. I'm going to binge watch when that hits.
And the name of the show is
Ancient Apocalypse.
Ancient Apocalypse. So, go ahead and watch the first season up, and it'll get you caught up.
It'll blow your mind.
Yeah. And now be prepared when you do watch it that so much of what you have thought all of your life could be different.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, it could be just this complete different. Oh.
Yeah, you got to watch these shows with open mind. A total open mind.
You do.
And and just think for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's an open concept. So it's like, follow your heart. Whatever your heart is telling you, that's what you follow. But it's nice to have that other opinion, the other concept.
He's a fascinating journalist. That's fascinating journalist.
And you know what? One being like this and one being like this, it one could be taking off from the other one. There could be truths to both of them.
Be truths in all of it.
It could be truth,
and it could be totally bullcrap.
Could be.
But there's too many things that point to.
Yeah.
There was at one point in time, for instance, they say Atlantis is no longer viewed as just a little city in the sea.
No,
Atlantis itself is now the entire Earth. They're saying Atlantis was a global civilization.
Oh, really?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. We're all a remnant of Atlantis. The United States, all of it, all of the world is a remnant of Atlantis.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because, really, the percentage of water compared to the percentage of land, water is much greater on Earth.
Not to mention there's more layers down beneath our feet where water is, where mountain ranges are beneath our feet down into the inners of the earth, if you would. So,
and we've talked about this on a previous show.
Yeah.
That there are actually oceans under our feet
Yeah.
that are deeper than the Mariana Trench goes.
There's mountain ranges that trump Everest down there that they found. I think it was 300 to 400 miles down, which that's an astronomical number. You think, think of 3 miles ago. How far is that? Think of 5 miles ago. How far is it? 10 miles. How far is that? 300, 400 miles beneath your feet.
Quite a distance.
And that's where they discovered that.
But I just don't understand how that can occur, because everything that I've ever been taught is that the closer that you get to the center of Earth, the more dense it is, and the more pressurized it is, and the hotter it is.
Well, explain Darren Kuyu. Explain some of these subterranean cities that they literally dug down into the earth. These are miles down, where they had over 20,000 people living. And Darren Kuyu is not even the only one. There's a bunch other ones that they found, and there's some that they haven't even discovered yet. It may be totally like, here's one here. I'll give you a good one. El Dorado.
The mythical city.
It's real. That is not fake at all. As a matter of fact, it was discovered and then covered up.
Wasn't El Dorado supposed to be the city of gold?
Mm-hmm. And I will tell you that I forgot what video it was a few of them. It was a series that I'd seen where they were basically saying that it was discovered and then immediately covered up after it was discovered. Mm-hmm. I think it was stated that it was in the Grand Canyon.
Really?
I think so.
That doesn't surprise me.
I think that's what that documentary had it on. There was a city of gold that was in the Grand Canyon or something like that. I'd have to go back to looking. I have to look that one up. That's something that anybody could pull up, and it could be true. It could be bull crap. Who knows? Again, these are all hypotheticals of could it be true? Could it be fake? I'm going to say Dorado. That there's not a doubt in my mind that yeah. Excuse me. Oh yeah, that was definitely a real one. No doubt in my mind that was a real one.
All I can smell is monster at this point.
It's attractive.
I wouldn't go that far.
But it helps me talk and open me up a little bit. But yeah,
it opened you up already.
Yeah, at least it's not coming out the other end, dude. Yeah, what does that smell like? Well, I kind of moving on. And
moving on.
But yeah, all hypotheticals.
But it's interesting because a lot of these hypothetical things that we talk about, there's facts in there as well.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Because I mean, a lot of sonar work has been done, and a lot of these things have been picked up on sonar. If it's not there, it's not going to show up.
A lot of sunken cities,
right?
Sunken monuments, things like that, where they can't accurately age it. It's so much older than what we believe it to be.
And they've actually been picked up, and that's just scientific covered up, and that's just scientific fact. That right there is just fact.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this isn't even hypothetical. No. Some of it's
not hypothetical anymore.
It's right on the money.
Absolute knowledge, man. I tell you, it could. I find to be fascinating is a civilization prospering 12,000 to 20,000 years ago. Then you go, well, how long were they actually here for? We know there was something here. We've seen the monuments. We've seen the megalithic structures. We've seen this. We've seen that. We know for 100% for a fact there was something here 10,000 plus years ago. It's around the time they met their demise, 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. And we could actually not be living in our accurate time frame. What we believe to be 2024 may not be 2024 at all. We may actually be living in a time that we believe it to be this, and it's wrong. That would be one of the cruelest jokes ever played upon mankind,
Yeah.
where we believed that we were living in this time, and we absolutely weren't. We were living in anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 years ahead than what we believed it to be. We may have actually gotten some things wrong with time, our construct of it, our form of measurement. May have actually made mistakes with it. We're accurately not in our right time.
Well, that would be depressing to think that we're actually 3,000 further along in time, and
let's say hypothetically 3,000 to 1,000.
But this is all we've done in all that time.
Well, that, and then you go, well, ancient summer would have been 5,000 years ago. You go, well, if we're not living in our accurate time frame, it'd have been 7,000 to 8,000 years ago. And then the civilization that we think is 12,000 years old is actually 15,000 to 18,000 years old.
But really, 2,000-3,000 years, just a blimp in time.
It's a fart compared to everything that was here before. And that's what fascinates me, is whatever was here before was fascinating. Whatever was here before, incredibly advanced. They understood the workings of the earth much more than what we do. They were able to manipulate stone itself. They were able to turn quartz. They were able to turn granite into freaking dust. Dust. If you walk up to some of those big megalithic blocks and put your hand on some of them, it turns into powder. That's like on a molecular level, they were manipulating this stone, where you could actually to the top of that surface and turn it into dust. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Absolutely, making stone weightless. And they've actually been able to do that with tuning forks. You put a tuning fork here and here on the other end of the stone, bing, or you send a frequency through it, and you could actually lift the stone and make it weigh nothing.
With tuning forks?
Yes, ma'am. Look that one up on YouTube when you get the chance. After this, or anybody listening, you can look that up. Absolutely fascinating. Frequencies. Get very familiar with it if you're not familiar with it. Frequencies, vibrations, these things that magnetic energy, these things, get very familiar with it. It is going to be, well, we'll be seeing a lot more of it in our future.
Yeah, we will.
Magnetism, we'll be seeing a lot of these technologies coming out because they're with them talking more about 0 point energy and energy that is around us at all times. They are going to begin developing things that are going to just seem like magic. Technology that doesn't even seem like this is magic. And not to mention, this is kind of similar to what who was it that stated that it would seem like magic to you? I think it was either Billy or Stephen Greer that stated that the technology that these beings possess, being anywhere between, let's say, 1 million years, that's such a huge number to think about. But let's say, if that's true, 1 million years advanced, or even 100,000 years, or even 1,000 years advanced technology, what they were able to do would make you would believe that's freaking magic. I'll put it to you like this. If you were a hunter-gatherer, right, and you saw me take a lighter and make a flame from it with a lighter,
right,
you would think I am a fucking magician. You'd be like, how did you let me eat a... You would have no idea. You'd be looking at it going, and you couldn't figure it out. But I'd go, dude. It would freak them out. They'd be looking at something. He can create fire from the palm of his hand. What, they may not even know what the hell fire is. They're looking at it going, or whatever. You know what I mean? If I'm making these noises and offends anybody, I'm sorry. I don't mean it in an offensive way. I kind of just mean like, you know what I mean? I'm just having fun. But what I am saying is it would baffle you to see fire made from the hand. You don't even know what this is. This is an element. You have no idea what this is. You touch it, it burns you. But then you realize you can cook things, and they teach you how to do these things. You would believe that they were magical. You don't know what technology is. You've never even heard of technology. Language is lost to you.
Burn the witch.
That's how they would say it. They wouldn't say it like burn the witch. Burn, burn. The next thing, fire. But I'm just saying, they were only able to describe in so many words what they were looking at. If they saw a vessel or a craft coming from the sky, they would say, magic, a ship with wings, or a chariot in the sky. They would have
Sure.
only
Yeah.
so many words to describe
Well, they
what
can
they're
only
looking at.
describe something that they know from their world.
Right.
Their world is very limited.
And then you look
Very
at
limited.
all around the world. It's one thing when it's one place in the world depicting something. It is a completely different ball game when it's other places in the world depicting the same damn thing.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, they had no communication with each other. How? That's the same damn thing carved into a rock here that's carved into a rock 700 something plus miles away, 1,000 miles away on the other side of the planet. There is no freaking way you can tell me, oh, that's just a coincidence. Really? As someone with a freaking chisel said, I'm going to carve this here, and another person here's like, ding dong, shiba. You know.
If he's not insulted everybody, we've still got about another 30 minutes to go. He'll get to you.
Yeah, just wait. And but what I'm getting at is that it would, man, I don't know. The more and more I look into these subjects, the more and more I do my own research, to me, we're not being told the whole story. And more and more people are starting to realize that we're not being told the whole story.
No, absolutely not. And I completely agree with that. I've been thinking that for a long time anyway.
I do believe one day we will be told the whole story, because there will be nothing but that story remaining. It has to come out. Nothing hidden in darkness. Nothing.
It would be the greatest story ever written.
It'd be the greatest lie ever told.
Yeah.
The you, me, civilization itself, those that walk this planet have no idea who the hell they really are. A species suffering from amnesia.
Wow.
Graham Hancock said that.
That's true, though.
A species suffering from amnesia. We have no idea who we are, what the hell we are, what our purpose is. You know what? At this point in time, dude, if I'm just a damn vessel for a soul, fucking tell me. If I am nothing more than just a container, tell me. If that's what this all is, tell us. We'll go from there. If religions and all these things are just ways to keep us in check and stuff like that.
Yeah, but when you think about it, the Ananoki is supposed to be these highly intelligent beings. I mean, way, 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 way beyond.
Let's say 1,000,000 years ahead of
Yeah.
us. And that's a big number.
Why are we? I mean, we would just be nothing more than a blip to them too.
Well, we were genetically designed. When the Igigi rose up against them, and at the time, the Igigi were nothing more than voluntary helpers for the Anunnaki to mine the planet and get the resources they needed from here. But over 100,000 years, I believe that's what it was stated, over 100,000 years of working the earth, or 100,000 to 400,000, around there somewhere, some crazy ass number. The time that they were working and mining, they got sick of it because they were being treated like crap. And they got sick of being, they're like, dude, we're volunteers, and they ended up being treated like slaves. They wanted to be released. They didn't want to continue doing it, so they ended up rising up against them. And the Igigi weren't powerful enough to stop the Anunnaki. They just weren't. So they got obliterated.
They were killed off,
annihilated, eradicated. Yeah, I don't think any of them survived. And if any of them did survive, they weren't volunteers no more. I can tell you that. They needed something to replace what was here working for them before, and that's where we came into picture. And they made us in their image. They gave us intelligence. They gave us the ability to mate and make more. The worshiping gene, all of that, you'll find in that's another one you should look up. The worshiping gene. There's actually a strand in your DNA that literally makes you that literally you have to worship something. Mm-hmm. It's actually written into your DNA. That's fascinating, but that's factual. You can look that up. There's actually something. It's called the worship gene that they discovered in DNA.
Well, what about people that don't worship?
Everyone worships something, whether it's Satan or your freaking self. Everyone worships something. Ooh, look at this rock. I like this rock. I shall worship this rock. Everywhere we go, this rock, you worship. If not, I kill you.
Told you he'd get to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying, it could be as simple as that. Or look, a lizard. Pretty green lizard. This king lizard. Worship lizard. Anything. Look, I am beautiful. I worship myself. You know what I mean?
Well,
You always kind of in a way believe in a higher power or whatever it is. We are interesting beings because we have to have connection with another.
that is true.
We're very codependent upon others.
Very communal. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's these things about us. It just, I don't know. To me, it just shows that we're programmed.
Well, really, when you think about it, I mean, everybody has somebody that they know who is a drifter. They're very solitude kind of a person. They just like being by themselves. And a lot of people see people like this, and they're like, "What is wrong with them? Why are they like that? They're never around people." And they're outcasts. They're just like total outcasts, and people disregard them. And but that is really true. A person of solitude is somebody who's not trusted, very rarely trusted, and they're think about it. They're looked down on. You can say that they're looked down on, like there's something wrong with them. But people find a distrust, an actual distrust of people who are very, live a life of solitude. Because they don't understand them.
My response would be, what's wrong with you?
Well, yeah.
What's wrong with your thinking? Maybe there's absolutely nothing wrong at all with someone who wishes to be that way.
I find nothing wrong with it.
And I will also say something that might be a bit controversial. Same thing with serial killers and things like that. We say, what's wrong with them? There's nothing wrong with them at all. They just don't fit into your society. They don't fit into your civilization. Maybe there's absolutely nothing wrong with the way this person is tuned or wired at all. They just kill people. But they probably cook dinner the same way you do, sit and watch the same TV shows that you probably do, read the same Bible or books that you probably do, live a very similar life the way that you do. They just go around killing people in their neighborhood.
Well, that would make something wrong with them.
Again, I'm saying just hypothetical. I'm just saying. Maybe there really isn't.
Insane.
Maybe there really isn't anything wrong with them. It's just the way that particular person was wired and programmed. There's nothing wrong with them at all. To them, they're normal. To them, and normalism and things like this, I don't know, man. What really is normal?
That ain't normal.
See, this is where I said it's controversial. To me, there could be nothing wrong with that person at all. That is just the way that person is. And what's actually wrong is the way we view them.
I see what you're saying.
In other words, just kind of like reverse the roles of thinking. Now, I'm not about to sit here and say an individual like a pastor that rapes little boys and things like that, and we go, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. But it could be that there is nothing wrong with that person and all that. Is just absolutely how they are. It's how they're wired, and our views upon them could be what's different. They don't fit into our normalism. They don't fit into society or civil or a civilization because of their murdering tendencies. You know what I mean? Like you can't trust it. I can't this. I can't that. But maybe at the end of the day, there's really nothing wrong with the person. It's how we view them is wrong. For that, I say build a little city called Murder City where they go around killing each other, and then they can have their own little civilization. And you stick them somewhere.
Yeah, but it wouldn't last very long.
I don't know. I would leave one Walmart and a Pilot gas station, and we'll see what happens.
It would be destined not to make it.
All they need is a Murphy gas station and a Walmart. We'll see what happens. If they, hey, you know what? They play their cards right, they might get a Publix. I miss Publix.
I do.
I
too.
hate having to drive an hour to get to a damn Publix to get.
Boar's Head.
Well, I don't know. They were in the news recently.
Yeah,
had a
they
recall.
were. It was killing people.
I'm good. See, you see. There you
I
go.
just threw it out there.
Boar's Head. Maybe there's nothing wrong with them at all. Maybe there's nothing wrong with that meat at all, man.
Just seemed apropos for the moment.
How apropos.
Apropos.
As you eat the sub, it's gonna kill you.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I'm gonna die. But it's good.
Oh,
There's nothing wrong. But yeah, I mean, these are different views, different things. Again, the getting down back to it, it's fascinating what's been left behind. And if you think about the time gap, it's fascinating to think that these monuments that are so damn ancient are still here. And it's been 20,000 years since they were occupied.
Yeah.
They're still here.
Now, I personally have never, well, I guess I have. When your dad and I went down to Mexico.
Yeah, you went to Teotihuacan.
Yeah. So yeah, that was very ancient. It was weird standing on like a sacrificial stone,
Mm.
And knowing that people died horrible deaths right there. It was kind of hard to digest that.
That's a little rough.
That was a little bit rough. But
and that's fascinating too, because it's really primitive.
Yeah.
Sacrificing people and things like that. They believed in a higher power so much that they did things like that. They were in contact with something that powerful.
Or they thought they were.
No, they came into those particular people came into what was already there. And I believe that if those structures were there may be some things that were there too.
Now, I remember you saying at one point that the Anunnaki were here before anybody else was here, and that the Egyptians, for example, did not build the pyramids.
No.
They reoccupied something that was already there.
Yes.
When they came.
Yep. And the Sphinx is a clear indicator of that, because the head of the Sphinx has been reworked numerous times, and the body of the Sphinx shows aging, but it also shows parts where reconstructions have been done. The outer area of the Sphinx shows heavy rainfall damage and things like that. And then what they've done is they've gone back into time and said when was rain in Egypt, and you start going back, and you start looking at where the pyramids line up to. And that's where they started doing some tests where they said, okay, we're going to go back about 10,000 years and let's see if it lines up. And certain things line up, but other things don't make sense here. They go even further back and then even further back. And to the point to where they ended up going to a certain time where water would be in Egypt. The Sphinx wouldn't have had that erosion, and so on and so forth. And the number they pulled from it was so out there. And you go, holy crap. There's no way they built this. There's no way.
Well, I was reading an article within the last couple of weeks that says that there's actually two Sphinxes.
What if I told you there was one here in the U.S.?
Where?
I think it was discovered in Ohio. It's in a forest.
A Sphinx?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's cool.
I think it was Ohio. There's one.
Large like that?
Pretty decent sized. Not huge like that, but it's a Sphinx.
Really?
No, not a single doubt about it. There's been, look up pyramids that were discovered in America. Look up the American pyramids. These.
I have heard about that.
It's global. And what does that tell you? If it's global,
it wasn't Egyptians.
It's a global civilization, which would have been
Anunnaki.
Atlantis. It's all remnant of Atlantis.
But did the Anunnaki come from? Were they the Atlanteans?
Well, yeah, they occupied Atlantis. Well, one of the brothers occupied Atlantis. I think it was Enki that occupied Atlantis. think it was him that occupied it. But basically, again, when you find the pyramids all over the world, and then the stories of a pyramid war come out, and you start lining all the facts up. Not to mention that they found large deposits of mercury in a lot of these pyramids. There's large pools of mercury. What does mercury do in large quantities? It makes objects float, levitate. Believe it or not. It's also a very serious electrical conductor. It could be used for that as well. So mercury is something that's a whole different another discussion. But I will say that one of the largest pools of mercury ever discovered would be from the tomb of that first emperor of China, from the Shang dynasty or something, where the terracotta soldiers were.
Right.
There's a massive river of mercury.
Yes.
And then
yes,
the process to create mercury and how to get mercury, it's almost alchemy in a way to get it. You start going back and go, how in the hell did they acquire such a massive quantity of mercury? Not only did they have possession of it, they were able to develop a freaking river system and a grave site and bury it. And it's still there to this day.
Well, it's not going to go anywhere.
No, we won't. We can't find anybody with the cojones to explore it either.
No.
It'll kill you. Well, they say it would kill you. We don't 100% know that to be true. If it actually would, who knows? Who knows whether it would or wouldn't? I've seen people messing with it and put it right in the palm of their hand and they roll in mercury around. So who knows whether maybe large quantities of it will absolutely ice you, but maybe not in small quantities. There was this old king that used to drink it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'd hate to see what that stuff would do to your insides.
He used to take small sips of it, I believe, with his tea. Yeah, he believed that mercury was a liquid of the gods, and he would drink small portions of it. It eventually killed him.
I was going to say, because that's eventually where he went to, is to be with his God.
Yeah, I could only imagine the fascinating collection of toiletries he had. I'm more curious about that. That's a question I don't think has ever been asked. Now, that's one that I would stand up and go, and did he amass a large quantity of toiletries? Was that discovered? You got to ask the right questions in science. Because, yeah, these are, again, this coming from the same person who said to bend over in a lightning storm and redirect lightning.
We have to remember that.
Yeah, now let me tell you. It's fascinating. I know how to survive a lightning strike.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I can't win the lottery, but I damn sure know how to survive a lightning strike. And they said, the odds of that are like,
But would we really put it to a test? It's one of those things that it's like,
I'm not putting any of that to a test. I'm just gonna.
You gotta put your ass where your mouth is.
Wow.
It just slipped out.
It's electric, but yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's all. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I was thinking of something to say, and I went there all, and my brain went, and I'm like, why are you talking? Just be honest and say you don't have anything to say afterwards. So that's what I'm doing right now. I am so open with myself, and everybody listening, I'm open. That's good. I talk like this now because
Yeah, you never used to before.
I keep it all in. Maybe there is something in this, but yeah,
it's a family trait.
Mercury, and I've seen so many the pictures of like they'll show the small pyramids in Mexico, these small platforms. It's literally what they look like, are these step pyramids, and they're flat on the top. That's where they discovered massive amounts of, not massive, but a good amount of mercury. And let's say those disc-like objects would come down and they would just sit there and float right above it.
That's interesting.
Charging up.
Oh, yeah.
The one large object John Lear talked about, and it was in Saturn. No, was it Saturn? There was this massive object, huge object, that they literally have a photo of as it's sucking plasma. It's what it looks like. It looks like it's just inhaling plasma and powering this object up, and then as a matter of fact, it left. It was so massive, it actually left. Um, what's it? It had left a sign or something he was talking about, and it actually in the rings itself. Yeah. Now it was like they're in the rings charging up. Yeah, man. And then they have another massive one that comes close to the sun, and it literally it's like this massive black ball, and it comes up like this, and you can see it pulling um, pulling energy out from the sun. You can see it charging up, and then something kind of like from here breaks off, and it hauls ass from it.
Then, so
Plasma is a big thing that's going to be
plasma's
coming.
a big thing.
It is going to be a big thing coming up. It'll be the future of our space travel.
Plasma.
Plasma, yes, a future fuel for space travel will be plasma. You'll be seeing a lot of it. If you guys aren't familiar with it now, you'll be seeing a lot of it coming up. Is plasma. They're actively working on it now. They're plasma-based motors, engines for space travel. They've success from what I've seen. I believe they successfully have one.
Well, wouldn't that be pretty much never-ending power?
Pretty much. And
Yeah.
it would take us what would take years to get to Mars could be shaved down to a few months.
Right.
That's incredible.
I've actually heard that Mars, to travel to Mars, that they're working on taking it from even months down to simply weeks.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. No, I did read
That's
on that.
incredible.
I mean, I can't even imagine.
Right?
That.
Hopping upon a ship, and then a couple weeks later you're at Mars.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Considering
Selfie.
the distance that there is, there. But these are all things that, Devin's been researching into this for years, absolutely years. And, we joke around and everything when we're talking about it. But I personally find the subject incredible.
Yeah.
It really is. It's an incredible subject.
If I had more time, because the honest truth is sometimes when we do these shows, when I do these shows, when I jump on, I don't have any material kind of like written out. I'll just go off what I've been seeing, or things that I need to actually sit down and curate something and put some real solid stuff together where I can absolutely have a mind-blowing show.
Yeah.
But these kind of things, it's just like you and I talking, that they're listening, and then maybe we can pique someone's interest, and it might spark them something in them to go and do the same thing. They want to look into it, or they're free thinkers and stuff.
Well, basically what it is, what we're trying to do here is that we're trying to get you guys to think outside the box.
Always.
The box has been there for years and years and years and years. You're getting kind of tired of looking at that same box. So we're just offering you an outlet to look outside of that and to explore different things. No one's saying you have to believe anything. No one's saying you have to put all your trust in. These are just different avenues for you to explore. You might find something in there that you can relate to. I find that with me. I find that I pick small things from a lot of different areas that I resonate with, and it makes sense to me. It might not make any sense to anybody, but it makes sense to me because of my experiences. Everybody has different experiences, and it's fascinating where you find something that you actually connect with in the most unlikely of all places, in the most unlikely of all subjects, and for some reason it fits. It's one of those pieces. It's one of those strange little pieces in that cube of all these different holes that it fits into with you, and it's like I've been wondering about that, and there it is right there.
If you've ever, the UFO thing. Have you ever seen a UFO? Yeah, I have, and I've seen a bunch, and where do you go to see them, or this is that? How do you see them, dude? Just freaking look up. Spend some time outside. Put the PlayStation 4 controller down. Go the hell outside and look up. You know, oh, it's Roman. I know it is. My son's gonna break into the room, but we see them. I'll walk right outside here,
Yeah.
and how many times have I looked up and then you see, and you're like, that thing is so high up, traveling so fast. That's definitely not ours.
Right.
Or or maybe it is, but the skies have been insanely active.
Here lately, they have been.
It's scary how active the skies have actually been here lately at night. And if you're in an area where you have no like total light, it's dark where you are, you're kind of like in the middle of nowhere. And there's also places you can go vacation wise where you can find real dark areas and you can sky watch. You go out, you lay down, you look up, and you find something. I will tell you, the first time that you probably see an object light up like and take the hell off at an astronomical speed, it's gonna mess with you.
It does.
Immediately, because your brain's gonna go, what was that?
Yeah.
I cannot comprehend what I just saw. It doesn't make this doesn't make sense.
No, it is. It's a scary thing, actually. When you see it and you recognize what it is for the first time, you're like, I think the frightening part about it is holy crap, this is really real. And just for that moment of clarity that you just had, fright comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you always thought that this was just something that people made up or whatever, and now all of a sudden you've seen it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary.
It is.
It can be very, very scary because it's that moment of clarity that, oh my God. And
we've also seen them so high up, and it's like I said, we go out and we watch, and I bet a UFO watch party or whatever it is. I always see them traveling here lately. At least they're always traveling the same path, the same route. It almost seems like they're airplanes, like a flight. But I can tell you here and now, if one of our airplanes, one of our jets, way the hell up there, and you see it moving like this through the sky, right? Real at a steady pace, and then all of a sudden you see the same thing, but it's moving like this.
Yeah.
Both light. One's moving real damn slow. Next thing you see one moving like this, and it's even higher up in the air.
And the interesting thing that the night that we're talking about, it was the
night of the aurora, the
aurora,
northern lights,
borealis, and we were here in Florida, and we were talking to Stan and Teresa in Alabama.
And then we had Lee Triana.
And then we had Lee Triana Terry Brown up in South Carolina with her husband, Matt.
And Blaine.
Mm-hmm. And we were all seeing
the same thing. Different parts of the U.S.
Yeah. And Matt had the program where he could track a lot of what was going on.
He was tracking the flight paths of our military craft.
And it was amazing what he was seeing. And it was all of us. It was like such a magical night that night.
It was incredible.
Because and Lee kept saying at the Paracomic-Con, she goes, I can't believe that was such a cool night for all of us.
And they're all part of MUFON.
Yeah.
They're all part of that.
They're all part of MUFON. And she was like, that was such a cool night. I said, I know, that was great.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I can't wait till we can do that again. But it's like, who knows when that can happen again? That's one of those.
Almost every night that I walk out and look up, there's not been one time that I haven't walked out there, looked up, and spent 10 minutes looking up in the sky. I didn't see something.
Yeah, but that night
it was magical. They were everywhere.
That night was just out of control.
And they were mimicking stars.
Yeah.
You'd see these craft travel, they stop, and it would just sit there.
It just sit there.
Lifeless. It just hovering. It looked like they look like stars, man. And they're right there above you. And you see it move real quick and then stop. And it wouldn't move for remember the series of objects we saw moving and all of a sudden they stopped. They did not move for hours.
Yeah.
Hours. They did not move. And then when I went back out there around like 3:30 in the morning, they were gone. Gone.
Weird. It was just so weird.
I get, we rotate. I get all that. And then where the object should have been, if they were still there, if they would be in a different position, but they'd be here, gone, nothing. It blank sky.